One started. All right. Welcome to Connect and Create. And I'm Karina Sephora. And we have the wonderful and fabulous Aalia with us today. And before we get started, I'm going to share just a little bit about Connect and Create and how it got started. And then we are going to jump right into a lively conversation, which Aalia has prepared for us. So again, I'm Karina Sephora, and welcome to Connect and Create. And I would like to first of all say a big thank you to Fulton County Council for the Arts for a generous grant, which I'm in the process of receiving, and which helps with the funding the organization and production of Connect and Create. And we are at episode 38. So this has been going for a little while. It's something that I created at the height of the COVID, stay at home time. And something that I love is going out and being at art events and lectures and openings and seeing other people's works and all the connections that happen inside of that arena. So when we started staying at home, I really pretty much just thought, how can I create an environment where people can still connect and where I get to hear what people are up to and people get to share what they're up to. So that's how Connect and Create came alive. And Aalia, welcome. Anything you'd like to say before we get into your introduction and everything else?
Thank you for having me, Karina. You are the OG metal worker idol, my first metal worker idol. So thank you for having me. I was always blown away by your blacksmithing skills, and you were an early inspiration to me. So it means a lot that you invited me to do this.
Well, thank you very much. And as you're saying that, I have a subtle recollection of our journey to Peters Valley, which I know didn't turn out as beautiful as we all imagined at certain points, but I do really appreciate, that you stepped out of your comfort zone and tried working in metal in other arenas. And, I have a background in jewelry metalsmithing from all the way back from when I was in high school. And it was a time of bringing together, working with my hands and fire and metal, and I dreamed of going in other directions, and I just got a secret glimpse, behind the scenes glimpse of your work this morning, and I'm looking forward to seeing the whole body. So,
well, thank you. And so should I go ahead and share, because
I have a little bio,
okay,
and I can share a little bit more about your professional life, and then
okay.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's great.
We did a little casual conversation first. So I'm going to generate this from Aalia's bio. Aalia, pronounce your last name for me so I don't.
Mujtaba.
Mujtaba, thank you.
Yeah.
Aalia, I meant to ask you that beforehand. Aalia Mujtaba, thank you, is the designer and fabricator behind Aalia Jewelry, a jewelry and accessories brand for all genders, inspired by South Asian, Egyptian, and Native American art and architecture. She is in her 12th year, congratulations, 12th year of teaching metalsmithing at Calwall Fine Art Center, and has been the assistant to Atlanta's fine jewelry brand Elena since 2011, and served on the Metal Arts Guild for Georgia board. Oh, I didn't know this, for 2011 to 2014. And she has slowly built her jewelry collection by hand. And over the last 4 years has employed technology such as laser cutting and 3D printing. We were talking a little about this before, to facilitate her production. And she's most recently exhibited her work in the American Crafts Council shows, and she fulfills many custom orders a year. Aalia graduated from Agnes Scott College in 1999. It was Prince's big year, right? With a BA in art history and economics. And her pursuit of metalsmithing has mostly taken place in her own studio and in the craft center realm at Atlanta's Sproul Center for the Arts, Chastain Center, and the Penland School of Craft, one of the places near and dear to my heart, and in North Carolina. Aalia has lived in Atlanta, Georgia for 38 years and has been pursuing the craft of metalsmithing for 18 of them. She lives in Clarkston, a small but diverse suburb. Actually, I think it's one of the most diverse suburbs in the United States. I
Yeah.
recently.
Most diverse square mile.
Oh, that's what it was. Thank you.
Yeah.
Most diverse square mile. Thank you. Okay, I like that. It's a diverse suburb of East Atlanta with her husband and 12-year-old son. I can't believe your son is 12
I
now.
know. Yeah.
So welcome, Aalia. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you all of Alia's fabulous guests. We have a good crowd here in our Zoom room. And thank you all of us that are joining from Facebook Live from all over the world.
Thank you, Karina.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to be here, and thanks for inviting me. And I will get started by sharing my screen.
Great. And those of you that are here will have a little time towards the end for some question and answers. And Aalia, do you want to save all the question answers for the end, or do you want to, enable people to ask you things along the way?
Yes, please do ask me things along the way.
Okay, great.
Okay, why is this not working right now?
I think if you highlight, you want to unshare screen for a second, and then just highlight.
Stop share.
Yeah, stop share. Just highlight with your cursor what you want to share, and then hit share screen. It'll go right to there.
Highlight with my cursor.
While I was doing that, I'll just share with you that there's something really special about having someone who has been a student also. One of the things that I heard many years ago from one of my mentors is that the highest accolade that a student can ever create is to supersede their teacher. So I would say in the realm of jewelry, Aalia has completely and utterly done that.
Oh,
thank you, Aalia, for being here.
Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, well, the first three images are photos of current work, but then I'll go back in time to 2001, 2003 era. But this is from I've been working on the collection since about 2017, really methodically to get a cohesive look and to also help employ technologies to ease my production time. But like Karina, my first experience with metalworking was in high school. I had a really excellent art teacher, and my mother's also an artist, and so the idea of being an artist was not a foreign idea to me. So I feel like I had a lot of privileges early on that allowed me to pursue art making in life. So again, this is current work.
That black and white one on the last slide, Aalia, have you ever seen the image of the man in the maze? I think it's a Navajo Indian.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Makes me think of that. Maybe Google
Okay.
Man in the maze sometime.
Okay. Yeah, so mixed metals, clean lines and edges, sharp contrast, graphic, are all things that I love and strive for. Okay, so this goes back to 2002-ish. I was taking classes at local art centers, like actually before 2001. So this was 2000, I believe. I was taking classes at Sproul and Chastain. And after graduating Agnes Scott, I started working for the Fulton County Arts Council public art program, and had been taking these classes at community art centers and was enjoying the scale of jewelry. I'd played with lots of other art forms, at Agnes Scott, and something about metalworking just appealed to my OCD. I think I was just able to, work at this small scale with a steady hand, and I could just control the metal in a way. It was forgiving enough to where I could stretch it, but not so forgiving like ceramics that I'd played with before. And so it was just a good fit. And I worked for the Fulton County Arts Council, and one of my first bosses there, Lorraine Haugen at the Abernathy Art Center, encouraged me to go to Penland. And she allowed me to take 2 months off of work and go to Penland for a fall concentration in 2001, and then come back and have a job. So I was not faced with the challenge of, not having employment for a period of time while I had my parents' support to do this too. Just a lot of circumstances that have really allowed me to pursue this craft. And I'm so grateful to all the people that have been there for me. So after coming back from Penland, that sort of sealed the deal. I decided to pursue jewelry making professionally, but still had my jobs, and so it was sort of a side gig. And I did a few neighborhood shows and was making work like this. I really loved to pierce. It was all metal based. These are, yeah. So when I look at these, I feel kind of like, oh, how cute and crazy. And they're just like, especially these rings, it's like, who would ever wear these? But, I'm seeing some elements from these early works that are carried through in my current work. But I also felt I felt kind of discouraged by these pieces at the time. I remember just feeling like none of this looks like it's a cohesive body of work. It's all over the place. It felt like student work. I felt influenced by a lot of my teachers that I was taking classes from, not in like a direct way, but just sort of like, I just felt very impressionable, and none of this work felt like my work. But I just kept at it. Sorry if this is showing up so big, but there's my son. I had a baby in 2008, and and here's some earrings that I was making at that time too. And I kind of see early motherhood as a real, well, it is a life-changing thing, but it was creatively changing too. At the time, my husband and I were living at my childhood home, and I was pregnant and had my son Damien while we were there, and it was just really, it was a interesting time to be, taking care of this new life, but also facing my childhood past in my environment. And so I found myself a lot of times, while feeding him, staring at these things around the house that I grew up with, so these are pieces of Panamanian earthenware my parents collected when we lived in South America or Central America. And as I remember sitting there looking at these things, in early motherhood, you're sort of isolated and things are quiet and lots of downtime. If you're lucky, I guess, I was lucky to have that, and just look at these pieces and contemplate and remember. I remember staring at these things for hours. I'm an only child, so there were moments where I would just sit around and look at things, and I guess I've always been a visual learner. And so these lines and patterns, I really remember as a kid just studying these pots. And then also, I'm from Pakistan, and so my family has a lot of kurta, shalwars, clothing that have these flat floral ornate patterns on them. And this classic paisley design is something that I've just grown up seeing, and I feel I feel like both of these elements have influenced my work, the graphic glaze patterns, and then this floral ornate textile pattern. And it was at this point, you know, having a child, contemplating my identity and my surroundings, and that I started to draw a lot and formulate some designs that I felt were, wow, I feel like I'm onto something, and we'll get to there. But so 3 years after having Damien, I started working for Laney Papageorge, who's an incredible jewelry designer, and Lee knows her too. And Laney's has been a wonderful mentor, and her work is fine jewelry. So it's focused on rare colored gemstones, which set in really artful, unique ways. You can see this incredible opal that she's wearing here. And but she was really encouraging to me, and inspiring, and just a great mentor. So, you know, two things came together at this great moment, is sort of discovering myself, my identity creatively, and then this wonderful mentor who is showing me the ropes of her business. Okay, so this is the first pair of earrings that I made in 2012 that I feel, this is a terrible picture, I'm sorry, but I feel like it really opened the floodgates to just design for me and finding my voice. So this is 2012, end of 2012, and in 2013 I kind of went nuts making all these pairs of earrings, just whatever I wanted. I wasn't thinking about a collection. I was just thinking about just getting all these ideas out. And they were all earrings. All my ideas were around earrings. So this is one of the next pairs of earrings I made that have carried through.
Aalia, I love the first pair that you made. I love how you can see that it's not perfectly even on the edges, like in the stone meets those little kind of half moon shapes. I love that it just looks a little bit not exactly the same on both ones. You know? And it's like, I know that, you know, in the use of technology, you can reproduce, and, you know, like that. I just wanted to point out, I love the kind of, I don't know what you say, like almost erraticness of it.
Yeah, this was all hand cut. And I think I even cut them separately. You know, it's so funny, like one of my jewelry students, I started teaching at Calwall in 2011, or no, it was before Damien was born, 2007. Anyway, so yeah, one of my jewelry students was like, why don't you stack the metal and cut them out at the same time? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So these are actually cut separately. And you know, the rivets, so just, you can see the labor here, you know. Same with these, you know, the hand cut nature. Laney is just, you know, she's all about the gemstones. So really, when I started working for her, I really embraced color in a new way that I was really afraid of before. And doing multiple settings and pieces. You know, experimenting, playing, refining my skills really during this time, making tons of earrings, but really getting better at piercing, getting better at riveting. stone setting. I'm not gonna, unless someone wants to know these materials, I'm just gonna kind of go through these. So this is all in 1 year, 2013 still. And then playing with balance, stones put in position, unpredictable positions, and figuring out how to balance that tension with the metal work and with the movement of line. And
Now, is this gold or brass that you're adding?
brass.
Brass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoops.
That's my favorite pair. That pair is the green stone. Is that turquoise?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not turquoise. Is that?
This is African jasper, is
Oh,
what I remember.
it's beautiful.
Yeah. Gorgeous stones. I think these are green barrels.
Mm.
Yeah, these, Laney bought these for her daughter.
Oh, really? I was like,
Yeah.
like you read my
Laney
mind.
has a lot of my work.
That's a good compliment.
It is, it is. She wears it so well. She's got impeccable style, and whenever she wears, I mean, I feel like, I guess I made those for you because they look perfect. It's a little blurry. I was just loved finding unusual stones, and I have a ton of stones to prove my obsession with them. For about a year, I was just buying these, not expensive because they're not rare, but just the patterns and stones I was really drawn to. And this pair of imperial jaspers I had for a while before I got the preonites, and then did this kind of a simple setting around them. But I loved the idea of asymmetry with different stones. Laney really kind of inspired that in me also. But then I found that the stones were too controlling. Like I really wanted my work to be more about the metal than about the stones. So when you have a beautiful stone, it's like, oh my God, this stone needs to dictate the design. And sometimes I like doing that, but I didn't feel like that was the right approach if I wanted to create a body of work that could, where stones could be just plugged in place, you know, if that makes sense. So I came back to this design as, okay, this is something that I can repeat because the pear-shaped stones like this are pretty readily available. And I ended up getting Tim Rourke imports. Do you know them, Karina, downtown?
That sounds
Tiara,
familiar. Yeah, that sounds
the
familiar.
colored gem dealer. And he was so generous to me and allowed me to borrow or take stones out on memo and just pay them off as pieces got purchased. So again, even more wonderful community support to help me along my path. Okay, so sorry, so this earring design and then these, I was like, I thought, okay, these are the ones that I can repeat. And how do I do that? And how do I distill shapes from these designs to, oh wow, I'm really behind. Okay, let me speed this up. How can I distill shapes from these designs to create a simpler shape that can feed a body of work that is more affordable and easier for me to produce? So I started just playing with pieces of paper to figure out what are the core elements, what are the core geometric elements of my designs. And I found these, you know, the wedge or the wedge shape and the sort of half circle crescent shape, and then putting them together to create sort of a new shape. And then I vectorized the designs and got them laser cut, and it was like Christmas getting the shipment back from the laser cutter and having all these pieces cut for me, and just still assembly was laborious, but oh my God, what an amazing technology to implement. I wish I'd done it sooner, but really, it took, it just takes however long it's going to take. That's how long it takes. So I was really excited. So now these peacock strut earrings, that's what they are called, they just look more clean. The design is just sort of simplified, and it's just more professional looking, especially when I have like 8 pairs of these all lined up, and it looks good. Okay, so I got this design laser cut too in different metals, and then some smaller earrings that draw on the elements of the peacock strut. TRI, I ordered stones from them, cut specifically to fit these earrings, and the stones that I could afford were these stones. And so they've given me also sort of a color palette that is consistent throughout the body of work, which makes it even more cohesive. And that was sort of a happy accident. I did not plan it out. It was all based on, certain limitations of budget.
Mm-hmm.
So this, I'm calling this shape the protractor shape. And this began the Protractor Collection. So, which is several pieces of work that are unisex. Arranged in different ways to give me a vocabulary to easily design new jewelry. And so this is a piece, the protractor shape, that has been laser cut, and I was just playing with it, wanting to kind of pop it out of its 2-dimensional frame, and I did a little experiment, a wax carving, to play with that, because a lot of my work is very flat, and so I've just been, this year, so it's pretty recent that I've been doing this. And then that motivated this ring, which is just this summer I did. I plan to keep some just like this, and then flush set stones along the entire surface in a line. And then I started with the accessories, came in with these belts, which are water jet cut. This is my friend Chris. These are some other belts. Started making some bolo ties. I wanted to, a lot of men have stopped at my booth and have liked my work. And so I thought, all right, let me, start creating some jewelry that can go all ways. Some bolo ties. They're really fun to wear, but I don't think there are people in the South that are really trying to pull this off.
It's really interesting, Aalia, you have the images of the work, with the black backgrounds and very formal, and then how, you've done such a beautiful job of having these models and, really kind of expanding to show the lives of the work out in the world with the people.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's important to, when you're trying to sell it, to see it on a body. And this is a ring, I'm kind of going back in time a little bit, a ring, this was a test piece. That's my warning alarm. playing with different metals and stones and scaling the design up and down. I don't have very many small earrings. I love big earrings, so I've really tried to create some work that are more wearable. And that design, and this is also just this summer, I wanted to boost this design out of its frame, also try to do something sculptural with it. And what have been wanting to work with a graphic designer to do that. And I felt like this design was a good one to experiment with CAD design and 3D printing. And these were cast in silver. You can kind of see those sort of stair step element. These ones were actually printed in metal, in like a brass bronze alloy. And the design really stands well alone without a stone, but I put this citrine trillium in there and was like, oh yeah, that looks great. So some will be with a stone, some will be sold without a stone. And this was really a really fun project to try, and also to get printed and have the results. So I mean, I did a lot of handwork to clean these up, because there's some texture that is created from just the printing process. And so there's still a lot of labor involved, but, you know, to get 5 of these, you know, sent to you and have all that work already done is just so nice. I don't know why this is here. I think this is just to show the color theme that has helped make the work come together. Oh, right, now I know why that's here. Okay, so this earring design I tried to use more directly in a ring design, and that's here. And then some smaller rings. So again, I've been trying to go against my instinct of big and large and in charge, and like go scale down smaller, do things more delicately. Not everyone likes the big and bold. These are cast in 14 karat gold, and that one's silver actually. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. And these are, yeah, this is the recent collection of rings. And again, see my website for more and follow me on Instagram. Are there any questions?
Yeah, and folks, if you want, you can either raise your hand or you can take yourself off mute. Looks like Lee's got a question.
Yeah, I don't have a question. I just wanted to say that I have been following your work and watching you since the beginning. And
Yes.
I've always been able to see that thread of your design in there, that you really had a vision right from the beginning, and then you just progressed as you went along. Now, I have to admit that early on, I thought you were a bit crazy, as much hand piercing as you did. That was, I mean, it was just like, and I admire you for that, but you were able to go on to the next level, figure out how you could get multiples made, and just went from there. But it still is so beautiful, and it's so looks like you.
Thank you.
I just, I can hardly wait to see what you're coming up with next.
Thank you, Lee.
And I love that you also work with alternative materials, that you're not afraid to work in brass. You're not afraid to work in copper. You just do it, and your stone setting's exquisite. So
thank you.
Bravo.
Yay, thanks, Lee. I appreciate it.
Great. Aalia.
Thank you, Karina. I'm gonna stop share here.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, do you have a personal favorite, Alia, of any of the works or anything that now in reflecting, like going back and looking through this whole collection over the years, any new ideas come to mind for you of what you're going to be doing in the future or what it was like to see all of this body of work and share?
Yes, yes. Well, a favorite piece I think is always going to be the peacock strut earrings, um, because they were just the beginning um, of you know so much work, and I still love them. Like I haven't gotten tired of making them. I don't get tired of wearing them, and they're just they're I feel like they're my symbol. So I love those. And um, I feel like what I'm working towards is presenting, the collection to some different galleries or doing some wholesale shows when those open up again, to get my pieces out there. I feel like I've been working on this for 19 years, and I felt like I always like make an excuse for myself. It's not the right time to show my work because of this and because of that. And I think there's some like confidence issues around putting myself out there. But I feel like now that I feel really proud of the collection, and I need to sort of present the work publicly more.
Yeah.
So
Well,
those are the next goals.
yeah, thank you for being a yes. This was a great public demonstration of sharing your work, both here in the Zoom room and on our Facebook Live. I also shared it to a number of other metalworking groups and different groups out there in the world. So good job. I guess I must have read your mental telepathy on getting your work shared a little more. And again, part of why I created this platform was to give people an opportunity to share their work. There've been a number of people who have been on this show and said, this is my first time sharing, or I'm so excited to do this. It's brand new work that I wasn't doing before. And, so whether you're seasoned at sharing your work or whether it's your first time, this platform is really meant to be able to do just as the title says, connect and create. So if you're out there and you love Alia's work, looks like we have one chat message as well. Let me double check on that. Oh, has your son shown any interest in learning from you? Says Quran.
Hey, Co. Yeah, Damien he's got some really good fine motor skills. He was exhibiting those early on, so I have worked with him. Usually over Thanksgiving break, we do a little jewelry project in the studio, and he enjoys it. So yes, yeah, he'll be my first employee.
That's really great. That's really great, Alia. And how about the future, aside from showing your work, any new directions that you see coming on the horizon? I know we casually talked a little bit about, talking about glyph systems and certain, influences that might be out there. Any
Yeah.
ideas of imagery or challenges that you've been thinking up that you'd like to try out that you want to let our audience know firsthand?
Well, I feel like my work is really has been really about the aesthetics of things, and just my just the design side. And I really want to get a little bit more personal with my work, and I've played with that a little bit with this cuff, for instance, which is called the X and check, or the vote cuff, or yes or no, or right or wrong. And so things like that, that are more personal or political, I'd like to kind of inform some new designs that way.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really great. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about that? About the election or presidency or the whole, I've noticed on your Instagram, you have some different comments here and there. Anything else since you have a
Yeah.
platform you'd like to say?
Yeah, I guess so. I think everyone needs to vote. That's what democracy is about, and that's what I want to support and encourage. And living in Georgia, it's extremely important to be promoting that for the runoffs coming up in January. So I plan to be doing some volunteer work this winter to help get the vote out and support financially the campaigns that support democracy. So
that's really great. I had this kind of bold idea when you held your bracelet up and you were talking about the vote. Totally, you don't have to take it as advice or anything like that, but it's just like a fun thing to play with, right? Like, what if you were to have one of those bracelets and send it to Kamala Harris and let her know how important this year has meant to you? That kind of, sometimes I feel like there are these little things that we do as an artist that we don't know the ripple effects that it makes, like in the world, in our careers, things like that, like kind of stepping out. But that was just a thought that I had.
Yeah, totally. I've thought about, like, who do I know that knows Stacey Abrams that I can, get this cuff to her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But are you there? Sorry, you froze. Did we time out? Hello?
You're not alone. I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but it looks like Karina did kind of freeze on us.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks, Lee.
Yeah, sure thing. Sure thing. Are you still able to teach? Have you gone back to teaching at Calwall?
Yes. Yeah. We started back this fall with a reduced enrollment and spaced out benches. So I had 4 students and it went well, and I'll be teaching again in January. So, fingers crossed. I did have a student that contracted corona.
That's scary.
And I got tested, right after.
That is really scary. But, well, I have been, since I moved down here, I've been taking some Zoom workshops. Because I don't know anybody. I've got a lot of time. I work at my bench and I, think about what else I can do. And they've really worked out well. So think about that. Getting a Zoom, something, because your technique and everything is just incredible. So
thank you. Yeah. When this all started, there were so many people that I follow on social media that really pivoted quickly and were just, working out of their studios and Zooming their techniques. And I was so impressed. I'm a slower thinker and processor, and I don't know, but
it brings us all together.
Yeah, it does. It's important for sure. So Karina, thank you so much for doing this and for, keeping the arts community and the people that connected and engaged. And we were talking about how important, our art classes were, and critiques, and as an artist, how important feedback is in propelling the next steps. And so thank you for doing this.
Yeah, definitely. And if by chance you do want to connect with Kamala, I have one of my collectors is their family is one of her, I don't know, they host parties for her and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
thank you. You do a fabulous job. This was so much fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming, Lee.
Be looking for the next one.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Aalia, thank you once again for being our guest. And I only hope that this day ripple effects into other wonderful things happening in your life and your career. And thank you everyone for joining us. And if you or anyone you know has a story about your own creativity that you'd like to share, please feel free to contact me at karinasafora@gmail.com or my website, karinasafora.com. And thanks again to Fulton County Council for the Arts for the generous grant funding, which is in process right now. Can't wait to say that it's complete. And thank you everyone for being here, and we look forward to next week.
Thank you, Karina.
Bye.
Bye.